So we're kind of switch gears here and talk about hardware stores and nails. So let's imagine you have to repair the fence in your backyard. The whole thing's falling down, and you're just going to build it again. You need to go to the hardware store and get some nails. How many nails do you need? Well, you might be able to estimate from the number of pickets and 6 nails per picket or whatever. You go to the hardware store and they've got this big bin of nails, right? Are you going to stand there and count out 2,007 nails? No. And the clerk is not going to want to stand and watch you count them out for him. They don't sell them per each nail. They sell them by the pound. And there'll be a little sign there that says, so many nails per pound for this type of nail. So you weigh them to count them, okay? And this is used in a lot of different situations in manufacturing. How do you ensure that the right number of objects are in this box without counting them? You weigh them. You know the average mass of each individual piece, and you weigh the whole thing. And if it's the right mass, you can be pretty certain that you have the correct number of objects. So this idea of counting nails by weighing them is analogous to how we count atoms. Atoms are far too small to count. And so what we do is we estimate their numbers by using their masses. So let's think about this. Make sure I didn't skip a slide. So if a hardware store customer buys 2.60 pounds of medium-sized nails, and a dozen nails weigh 0.150 pounds, how many nails did he buy? This is a practical sort of problem that you could encounter in everyday life. Dimensional analysis can help us solve this problem. So here we have 2 numbers. Let's write them down. 2.60 pounds of nails. And then we have this information, a dozen nails weighs 0.150 pounds. So 1 dozen weighs 0.150 pounds. We want to know how many nails. That's the question, right? How many nails? So in looking at these numbers here that we pulled out of this sentence, this one is just a single unit, 2.6 pounds. That could not in any way be used as a conversion factor. But this is a relationship, isn't it? A dozen nails weigh 0.150 pounds. We could also write that as 0.150 pounds per dozen nail, right? That looks like a conversion factor. So what I want to do here is I'm going to take pounds and I want to convert to number of nails. Well, do I have a relationship between pounds and number of nails? Not quite. I have pounds and dozens, right? Pounds and dozen. What is a dozen? 12. So I know the relationship between a dozen and number of nails. So I take 2.60 pounds of nails, and I'm going to multiply by dozen and divide by pounds. So those units cancel out. And then I'm going to go to number of nails and divide by dozen. So the dozens cancel out. So we know that 1 dozen is 12, right? So 12 nails is equal to 1 dozen. Those are different ways of describing the same quantity, right? A dozen is the same as 12. And then here, this comes from the relationship that was given to us. 1 dozen of this kind of nail is equal to 0.150 pounds. So 1 dozen, 0.150 pounds. Now we get out our trusty calculators. 2.6 divided by 0.15 times 12 208 nails. So the customer purchased 208 nails. Any questions? Does that make sense? Most people are fine with that because you can picture that, right? You can picture it. We're going to do the same thing with atoms, so don't freak out. We're just going to substitute a couple of words. It's the same process. If you understand the nails, you can understand the atoms. Just don't freak out about it.